Okay, let's do our 10 questions here because I'm really
Okay.
curious to see what your answers to these are going to be. Okay, so if you and again, I always preface this by saying this is definitely the worst question to ask any fan of any band, right?
Nice.
Is what's your favorite Tom Petty album if you absolutely had to pick only one?
And that would be Wildflowers.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hard pick, but definitely that just has such, I mean, everything going for it.
yeah,
So it's such a variety of music. I mean, if I have to get really particular, Wildflowers and all the rest.
yeah. Well, I mean, what a joy that was when we get that, right? Because
Yeah.
all those extra, I mean, like I said, we listen to things like Harry Green and Somewhere Under Heaven. I still Somewhere Under Heaven. I remember when that came out, when the extended album came out, all the rest, and I heard that song. I'm like, how does this song? How has this song not come out before? How do we
Exactly.
not?
Yeah.
It's
How did it
unbelievable.
vary for this song?
I
Okay.
know. But it's
Yeah.
you look through those 15 songs. I was talking about this with one of my other guests. I said like, the problem is when you look through the 15 songs on the album, what would you replace? It's and if you're not doing a double album and you are going down to 15, I still think if you look at the times of the albums, you could do 4 songs each side. You could include one more if you're being greedy, but
No. Yeah, that's true. But Wildflowers definitely is the one I'm most in love with.
yeah, for sure. Okay, Mudcrutch of the Traveling Wilburys.
I debated this for a long time, and what tips the scales for me? Mudcrutch tips the scale just slightly. And I'll put this as gently as I can. I love Bob Dylan songs when Bob Dylan's not singing them.
Hey, look, you're far from being the only person in the world who thinks that, right, Nora?
Yeah, I mean, not known for being a vocalist,
Yeah,
but also the history behind Mudcrutch, the
yeah,
story behind it. Like we're gonna do this again and cut a couple albums that I don't know exactly how much success they had, but there were some.
yeah. Well, I
Uh,
mean, they charted with I can't remember which song it was now, but and it wasn't one of the Tom songs. It was one of I think it was Tom Leddon's song from Mudcrutch. Well, I think one of them, but one of them charted definitely. So they definitely
okay,
had a little bit of success, if you want to call it quote unquote,
yeah,
right? So
I just like the story of hey, let's call these guys up and see if they want to do it and
yeah.
have fun. I mean, not that the Traveling Wilburys story is found me too, uh, but I think I said what I said. I stand by my opinion.
Well, I was when I was in the military, I had a sergeant who I'm still kind of friends with on social media today, and he used to say that Bob Dylan is like a 2-speed vacuum cleaner because it's that's the 2 speeds of Bob Dylan.
But my brother did a really good impersonation of Bob Dylan.
See, I'm one of the people. I'm one of those weird people who, for some reason, there's something about his voice that I just kind of like. Not always,
Yeah,
because his voice has changed so much over the years. And I'll tell you when I didn't like it is when he stopped smoking, which is stupid because
interesting.
he lost a bit of that gravel and that rasp, and his voice is just a bit. It's like, oh, it's a bit clean. It's a bit nice. I want Dylan to be a bit ragged and a bit, a bit messy. So,
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
but
Well,
his new album, if you ever get a chat or Rough and Rowdy Ways, if you haven't listened to that album, give it a listen. It's sensational. Talk about late career albums that artists have
yeah. Or
no
maybe I'll
right to
like
be
it
able to
better without the raspy.
have. Okay, if you could join the Heartbreakers on stage for one song, what would it be, and what instrument would you play? I didn't even ask you. Do you play? Are you a
I
musician?
play a little guitar and a little
Okay.
piano. I can't buy a guitar, and I'm a late to life piano student. Like I just started 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
But I would sing the harmony part to Insider
Oh,
and play the tambourine because I think I could do that. Okay.
yeah. Can you count? Can you count to 4?
Yeah,
If
pretty
you can
much.
count to
Yeah,
4, you can play.
I,
You can play
I,
rhythm. That's good.
maybe even rhythm guitar. If I
Yeah,
feeling very confident. But I think that because I just think to sing with Tom Petty would just be an absolute.
yeah.
That would have been a dream.
No kidding. Here. And I think that's that thing where when you watch him singing with someone else, when it's duet sort of based, you
Yeah.
can see that they're watching each other, right? Because they're looking for the cues. Because
Cool.
when you sing with someone, you kind of have to sing, especially when you sing in harmony. you have to sing it the same way because you don't want to come into a note or out of a note at different times because it just
Yeah.
sounds a bit off. So that little bit of eye contact and that bit of non-verbal communication that'd be exhilarating to have that with Tom just for a song, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. And, I've been a choir singer for most of my life too, since I was 10 years old. So,
Yeah.
uh, uh, so just knowing I can do harmonies
Yeah.
is kind of what nailed that. But also, I think it's interesting as many different people that somebody did a duet with, and all the voices were so different.
Yeah.
Uh, but and you get a pretty, a very distinct voice, but just sounds so good with so many different types of singers.
Yeah.
I think
it's that little bit of luck that you need sometimes, right? And I've said this before too, but Tom, I think one of his strengths as a creative person generally was recognizing, yeah, that's the right person for right now. This
Yeah,
person's going to make whatever I'm doing. They're going to make that better, right? Because Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty together, and it's the same thing when Mike released External Combustion, and you've got the song State of Mind with Margot Price, and you've got their
right.
two voices are very so distinctly different, but when they sing together, it's just
Just that blend.
breathtaking. Yeah.
I would have loved to hear Tom Petty do a duet with Emmy Wilburys.
Oh, no flipping kidding.
I,
I just picked up Luxury Liner on vinyl 3 weeks ago.
yeah, I think those two voices could have sounded really good together.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about harmony too, because singing in a choir, I sang in a choir when I was very, very young. There's a picture of me somewhere with my little robes on and all the cassock and I did it for about a year. But I didn't, again, you don't realize it, because I play Rock Band, the video game Rock Band. I would play with my friends, and I've got
Okay, yeah.
friends who can sing and they can sing the lead. And it's okay, well, you do the harmony part, and they're just blank slates. Like, what do you mean? Okay, well, if I'm singing the one, you sing the three or the five, and okay, well, I'll play it on the piano. Sing that note. Okay, sing that note. When I sing the root now, they just move through it. So no, you got to stay on that note. Don't sing what I'm singing. So some people, even if they can sing, don't have that
No, don't.
ability to harmonize, right? So that's a
Yeah.
really specific thing. Again, that when you're a musician or if you're musical, you just think, well, everyone surely has that because you can hear it. So how can you not? It's weird, right?
You sing second alto for 35 years. You're going to know how to sing harmony.
Well, yeah, you never sing in the root notes, really. And
No, not sure I know how to sing a main line to a song.
So when you sing in harmony, then can you pick up a harmony like straight away? If someone says like sing the third or the fifth, that's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, but usually under.
Okay, yeah. Cool beans. Okay, who would be your dream opening act at a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers concert?
New band for you.
Okay.
Or new act, not a full band. James Lee Stanley.
Don't know this person.
So
Okay.
he has a film out about him right now, documentary, and it's called The Opening Act. Because
Okay.
he's been an opening act for years and years and years, since the 60s. He was a singer-songwriter, a lot of socially conscious songs.
Okay.
So here's the album I'm going to recommend to start for you.
Okay.
It's All Wood and Stones, and it's acoustic cover tunes of Rolling Stones songs.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's done in such a different way. And I've seen him a few times. He'll come up to Northern California. He's a Southern California guy. He'll play in Northern California once in a while. So
Yeah.
I've seen him for a while, but very talented. Very good musician. I came to him because I saw him and Peter Tork of the Monkees did like a little 2-man band blues
Okay.
tour a long time ago. And so that's how I got to know about him and just love his music.
Okay. And so then here's the follow-up question that I've been asking for the last two or three, I think now is, I think that what's cool about when you have an opening act on is if it's something that's in the same type of ballpark as the Heartbreakers, is there a song that you think he would really suit to come on and join the band on stage for a song?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't. It's not similar. If some of the music is kind of Americana and folk rockish,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they have a similar sound.
Okay. So it's not necessarily, there isn't sort of a song that you think, well, he'd sound perfect singing that, so that would be kind of cool. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that some more.
Yeah, I should actually write that in my questions and get people to think about those because I think, because I went totally overboard when John Paulson asked me the questions for the 100th episode. I was like, I did a festival lineup and I had people coming and going. It's just cheating all over the place.
All right, no, I haven't thought that much about
Okay. Favorite band member other than Tom? Another very unfair question.
it. You know, this is probably the hardest question, and I will honestly, and so the notes I wrote the other night, my answers changed. Ah,
And we'll
God,
probably change again tomorrow, right? So
it could, um, because I was going to say Scott Thurston,
nice.
uh, but I changed my mind. Uh, and nothing against Scott Thurston, but I just thought, looking at this from a pure personality standpoint, not musical ability, because that would,
Yeah.
um, I just think Steve Ferroni would just give you the best smile and
Yeah.
give the biggest hug and be just such a wonderful, loving presence
Yeah.
that I could imagine, and the things that I've read about him. Just a person you would come away from feeling really good about yourself. You're
Definitely.
talking below.
Yeah, definitely. And I said this on one episode this season that I do think that Ferroni coming into the band really not saved the Heartbreakers, but I think it really changed that dynamic where there's no tension anymore with Stan. There's no drama.
Yeah,
Steve comes in, and like you said, I mean, okay, if everything's going to hell, well, just look around. You've got that big grin back there. He's a super relaxed guy. He's never going to bring any of that nonsense into the studio with him. And also, he's going to play anything you want him to play.
yeah,
Note perfect, probably second take, right? So,
right, right. And just kind of has this vibe of, yeah, hey, everything's all right.
yeah,
Don't have to get upset about anything right now, you
yeah.
know. Um, so I will have to say that I have a soft spot for Scott Thurston because my youngest child goes to Southern Oregon University, which is right next door to Medford, Oregon, which
Okay.
is hometown. In fact, I was for a while trying to contact or was contacting the city council, the mayor's office, to say, hey, you guys have a member of Rock and Roll. There's not even a bus stop, with its name on it. Yeah. Eventually, they just told me to cut it out.
Did they really?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, well, unless the person has really done something for the city, not just being from there, that we don't
Interesting, because
give any recognition.
wow, because you would think they would, yeah, would want to lean into that because he's, I mean, not just a heartbreak, he was a stooge as well. I mean, this guy's had a career that anyone would give anything to have, right? Any rock and roll guitarist or player
You
would
would think, yeah,
snatch your hand off to be Scott Thurston, who can
right. So I would
sing
just,
and play harp and play keys and do anything you need him to
yeah. And if I had the option, I would just love to say, hey, Scott, I tried.
do. I'm tempted to say,
Just,
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Shawshank Redemption.
oh, yeah.
So Andy Dufresne, when he says they give him the whatever is the $200 whatever for the library, well, I'm now going to write 2 letters a week. That would be my approach to it.
Yeah, I think I should probably start hitting delete every time I saw an email come through to me.
Well, look,
Yeah,
you tried, right? You tried.
I tried.
So, okay, so if you could go to see any Tom Petty concert from history that you weren't at, which one would it be and why?
Oh boy. So somehow or another I missed the Dogs with Wings tours.
Right.
Oh, and would have liked to go back and see that one. Venue doesn't really matter. I would have loved to see, all the venues I saw were indoor venues.
Right.
Would be cool just to see an outdoor venue as long as the weather was nice.
Yeah. Just looking up the average set list for the Dogs with Wings tours. Listen to this set list. Love is a Long Road. Not a bad opener. You Don't Know How It Feels. Listen to Her Heart. I Won't Back Down. Free Falling. You Wreck Me. Diamond Head, Adventures cover. Mary Jane's Last Dance. Cabin Down Below. Learning to Fly. Time to Move On. The Waiting. Girl on LSD. Wildflowers. You're So Bad. It's Good to Be King. Driving Down to Georgia. Refugee. Running Down a Dream. Honeybee. And then an encore of American Girl and All Right for Now. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I can't. I don't know how I missed that tour. Although that was 94.
94, 95, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's finishing up senior year of college and going into grad school, so I might have had a few other things going on.
Yeah, a little bit busy. What did you do your degree in?
So my undergrad is in U.S. history, and
Okay.
my I have a master's in divinity from seminary.
Cool. Okay. So that's, yeah, I mean, well, again, I was talking to Mary Beth Donnelly, who's also a historian, and, it's just like, it must be and not to get too, not way too far into those weeds, but it must be frustrating when you're a historian to sort of see what's going on, not just in the US, but in the world and think, we're doing the same things again, folks. We
Oh,
need
it
to.
is. Yeah. Why do you want to study history? So you know what's happened before.
Yeah.
That's important to know.
Yeah. Do prefer looking forward, but sometimes you got to look, you should look back, but it's best not to stare, I guess, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. They tell you I actually used that in um I we were doing like a mission vision retreat for the church I work in.
yeah.
I told that line to our lead pastor. I said,
Well, it's a good line. And I think just seriously on that point though, that's one of the things that I've come to recognize in Tom's writing is that universality, right? So there is the specific thing that he's writing about from his point of view, but he pretty much always writes in such a way that you can apply it to pretty much any sort of anyone can drop it into their life, and it's relevant, and it's
well,
profound in some way, right?
yeah, I can use it for so many different circumstances.
Definitely, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got to figure out a way to get that into a sermon at some point.
Yeah. Well, talking about great lines and then things that you can, some days are diamonds, some days are rocks. Which is your favorite version of
Really.
Walls, Circus or number three?
Circus.
Circus, yeah.
Again, I'm a harmony person, so I love those layered vocals.
Yeah.
I work Lindsay Buckingham.
Yeah.
Getting the name right. And it's funny because a lot of times I like a more stripped down
Yeah.
version of a song if I had to choose. But I really like all those layers.
Yeah. I think that can be overdone. You can
Yeah.
sort of layer up just for the sake of it, and then you actually lose the song, right?
Right,
Where
right.
with Walls, they avoid that just because it's, well, I mean, Rick Rubin and Tom Petty and
Yeah,
Mike
they
Campbell.
never get to that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've heard me say that, number three was, I thought, well, everyone's going to say number three because that's basically three is the way it was written, right? You can tell that that's Tom Petty sitting down with an acoustic guitar.
Sure.
That's how he wrote the song. But the more and more I listen to Circus, and as a huge Beatles fan, it's like, yeah, this is a Beatles song. Like, it's exactly what Sergeant Pepper would have done with this song.
Well, that's an interesting point. I wouldn't have put that together, but you're right. It does sound very Beatlesy now.
Especially with that tempo, when you just drop it down by 5-6 beats per minute, whatever it is, and it gets just that little bit more gritty. It is. I mean, and they're both fantastic. It's like picking gold or platinum, right? They're both great. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. I was wondering what the percentages were between Circus and three.
Circus by it might Walls number three might be 2 or 3 people, maybe at most. Everyone else says Circus. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. All right.
I should do that actually. Though I should count up. I should do a little tally somewhere. Some people. Okay, so if you could pick any artist to cover any Tom Petty song, who would it be, and what song would they cover?
That's so fun. I did not do my research on about the question. I didn't answer it. I don't know. Well, you know how I said I would like to hear Tom and Emmylou Harris do a duet.
Yeah.
I think she could cover something even like, you know what? I just had the spot coming right now. Emmylou Harris singing American Girl.
It's sort of almost tailor-made for her, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. I don't have these thoughts two options, so I'm glad it happened right now.
I wonder. I'm gonna look up. I wonder if she's ever done it live.
Oh, or any.
I'm gonna look if she's covered any Petty. Wow, Emmylou Harris has never covered a Tom Petty song.
That
surprises me a little bit.
Not too late. Have your people rate her people.
God, I'd love to have her on the show at some point because what a legend she is.
Wow.
So I was listening I can't remember why I'd got back into it, but I was listening to Luxury Liner just on my phone when I was out for a run or something, but I bought it and I was like, I've got to buy this album. This is a great album. And when you put that album on and just really sit and listen to it front to back, it's just jaw dropping.
Oh,
another artist who's sort of gone by the wayside a little bit in contemporary music and people don't talk about enough, who was a brilliant singer, excellent songwriter in her own right, and always had a great band too, right? So I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that.
Wow.
What song do you most frequently recommend to people who don't know Tom's music?
Running down a drain.
Okay.
Uh, it's so fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a great introductory song. It's not quite as well known as the other one. Yeah, a couple of the other ones from the album, like Free Fallin'. But it's such a fun hook. I mean, almost everybody can relate to, driving with the windows down. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful day. A couple months ago, I took my nieces who were 11 and 9 out for ice cream, and we put that song on, and I have a sunroof, so we opened the
Yeah.
sunroof, rolled our windows down, and we're singing along, and it was just a
Oh,
fun,
that's so cute. That's
and
awesome.
it's accessible too. It's like you
For
can
sure.
easy to sing along with. It's got that nice hook to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's also one of those riffs when you think about 1989. Diddle 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 diddle. How has no one ever used that before? It's three notes played with an open E at the bottom of it. That's it. It's just a run down the top string on the guitar.
yeah.
How is that not in a song already? It's insane. You know?
Well, I mean, we think about it. Rock and roll is a little over 30 years old at the time.
Yeah, 50s. Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
35-ish. Probably. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Which is not
depending on where you put the start point, right? Because that's up for debate with everyone. So
sure, but I'm thinking like Buddy Holly,
yeah,
or that mid-50s.
yeah.
Um, yeah, well, that's another interesting. Yeah, and speaking of, you notice, like, or I've noticed, I don't think that Tom Petty music. Oh, now it's aged well. That's probably not the greatest way to put it. But it doesn't sound dated.
I don't find very much of the catalog does.
No, I mean maybe some of the stuff in the 80s with the synthesizer. But
Runaway Trains sounds like a Miami Vice soundtrack song, and I still love that song, but
yeah,
it feels like the 80s, right? But
but
most of
it
the rest of Tom's catalog, he tended to avoid that, I think.
yeah tended to avoid kind of falling into the traps of the
Yeah.
time.
Also, Run Down a Dream. I'm doing another podcast right now, the Ultimate Catalog Clash, with my friend Corey, and we just recorded an episode covering Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. And for
Okay.
me, it's between Sultans of Swing and Running Down a Dream for the best guitar solo in a fade out for a song.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Because I think
yeah.
about those two, I can't think of anything else that tops either of those two. You know, so.
No, those are both really good. Yeah. But one of the I work with the youth at our church, and one of our kids is getting pretty good on like the guitar.
Yeah.
It's his goal is to learn the guitar riff to run it down the green.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing with Mike Campbell, right? Like I said, and then there's another thing that this podcast has brought me is Mike Campbell. It's because
Oh,
you think Mike Campbell, from the outside, if you're not really massively into Petty, you just think, well, yeah, he's a good guitarist, but he's nothing special.
yeah,
Then when you actually listen to what he does on every single album, every song, every note is exactly where it needs to be, with the exact right tone, with the exact right intonation. It's freakish how good he is.
yeah,
Just at songwriting, like it's incredible. And a
right.
never-ending well of riffs. Like listen to the new Dirty Knobs album. Where are these riffs coming from at 70 odd years old, man? What the heck?
I think it's really neat how he's kind of managed to become a front man
Yeah,
after being, like it's a painfully shy for
yeah.
someone to.
Don't you think though that speaks a lot to his character as well about, you know, he put the Heartbreakers first, and he did the Blue Stingrays while the Heartbreakers were a going concern, but he never sort of put any ambition for his own voice or his own songwriting ahead of the band. And to me, that's, and probably sent 95% of the songs or licks or riffs, whatever that he sent to Tom didn't get used,
Right.
but he always was more interested in making the best music he could with the Heartbreakers rather
Yeah.
than having the ego about, well, I'm good enough to go and do it on my own. He just never did that.
Right.
So I love that about him.
Yeah. No, they all deserve extreme kudos for all the band for all the talents. I mean, that's yes, you went to the shows to see and you heard music to see Tom Petty, but the Heartbreakers are just such an integral part, especially in the live experience. I mean, and the studio band, the album experience too. But seeing them live, it's just bowls you over.
what a band, hey? I mean, and it's that thing too that Tom never played, even though he had three solo albums, he never played as a solo artist. He only ever played with the Heartbreaks, well, and then Mudcrutch, but he only played with the Heartbreakers. He wasn't interested in being a solo artist.
Yeah.
Certainly needed Mike there, right? He's got to have
Oh,
Mike. So,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we'll finish up our 10 questions here. Describe Tom Petty in 3 words.
Hope amid tears.
Hope amid tears. Oh, I love this. Okay, because this is quite close to Ivan Anderson's 3 words, which were Verge of Tears,
Virtue tear.
right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. So give me a little bit of expand on that a little bit. Why'd you go Hope amid tears?
Uh, because there's so many of the songs that are hopeful, like even the saddest ones.
Yeah,
And like, well, something good coming isn't necessarily, it's a hopeful side. It sounds sad. But it's got that, the character who's singing it is hanging on to just that thread, that little
yeah,
glimmer of hope, for dear life. That's how I interpret the song.
yeah,
Um, even though there's been all this water under the bridge, and stuff going on in the life, but and probably lots of tears shed. But if I can hold on to this little bit of hope,
yeah.
um, that's going to be my saving grace.
Oh, nice tie in there to a nice section.
Ah.
I like that.
I hope you get that.
Very, very nice. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that those themes of sort of redemption, hope, positivity that do sort of run through the entire discography. And of course, it varies here and there about how much of that comes through, but that is a through line through Tom's entire catalog. And, You and I Will Meet Again. I mean, Room at the Top. If you want to talk about tears,
Oh,
if you want to talk
yeah.
but this sort of, what I love about that song is it's such a difficult lyric to listen to, again, knowing the context when it was written, all this kind of stuff.
So,
But the musically, that just bringing in that really kind of aggressive, distorted guitar lifts the whole thing. So
there,
because you could play that song really through just on a piano. You could have someone just playing that on a piano, it'd be very plaintive. You could really lean into the melancholy, but just that balancing of light and shade and that having the hope with the tears, I think is really important. And Tom was just an absolute master at it.
and with the Wildflowers album having Wake Up Time, which
Oh,
is, that's probably tied with Something Good Coming as my top.
yeah,
If I can cheat a little. But just having that right after Crawling Back to You,
yeah,
there's that hope.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly how bad my life's gone downhill, but I'm going to leave you with a positive note. And I love that in the documentary we got that little commentary that was a very deliberate thing where Tom, we need a closer. We need to finish this album off in a certain way. There needs to be this little bit of redemption or hope or sort of look forward. And so Wright's Wake Up Time comes back with, this beautiful arrangement, this great little piano progression. It's like, what a
Yeah.
genius.
Could you imagine Crawling Back to You as the finisher as the album?
No,
It wouldn't have been the same album.
no, it wouldn't. And that's something else we talk about with Wildflowers, right? When you think about the sequencing, not only are the songs brilliant, the performance is brilliant, the production perfect, the sequencing, you think, well, I can't see a spot where you would say, well, maybe that one could go before this one, or there's a bit too much of a lull here, or there's too much of this. There's never too much of any one thing. It never sits in one place for too long. You don't get bored
Yeah.
with it. And yet, in the variety and in the ups and downs, it all just feels consistent and like one piece. It's an incredible feat of, arranging and I suppose musicality. It's just that musicianship
Yeah.
that he had dripping out of him.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to take a bunch of songs and just, I may have playlists here and there for different things, but just for an album, no. Not one of my, would not be one of my jobs.